Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where today we're breaking down all the goals scored with Bodø Glimt, if that's how you say it, Bodø Glimt, I think so, and the Spursy going for the Europa League Final against the Manchester United. It's going to be a really brilliant final. As I was stating in my Manchester United video, whichever team loses, there's going to be massive repercussions. I think if Ange loses this final, he's a goner. I don't want him to, though, because I actually kind of like his approach to football, because he's doing things his way and ignoring everybody else and everybody says. And there was a time when he was sitting top and pretty in the Premier League for a very long time. Well, not a very long time, about 8 weeks or so, when everything was working and people believed in what he was doing. But slowly but surely, the media in the UK do what they always do. They just say, oh, no, you're wrong. And then all the players eventually hear it and his message gets diluted. And no one believes what he's doing anymore. And the team's wheels fall off and the players are like all sorts of things. But a little bit of a rant over, but I do want to talk about this field, right, and this artificial turf field before we get into the goals. It's not going to be a long video. With these artificial plastic turf fields, there's a lot no one really talks about, because quite frankly, they just don't know. If you've ever played on one of these, like me, I mean, for not just for a game or two, for an extended period of time, you'll notice a couple of things. One, anytime anyone spits on the field, it doesn't go anywhere. Anytime someone cuts themselves or gets blood on the field, doesn't go anywhere. All of that bacteria drops down into all these little balls, these little tiny black little things that get in your socks and your shoes. They get everywhere. They get in your hair when the ball gets kicked, my magnificent hair, and all those other little things. But what they don't talk about is all of the bacteria that stays there and festers, especially in hotter countries where they put these down, because of many reasons. But it's awful. There's companies out there that are actively, like, after they started doing research, this was probably about 2012-14, when they'd been down for about 10 or 15 years, started realizing that if you got a cut on those fields, you're going to get a serious illness. So if you're a player and you go to ground on it, you're going to pick up all the bacteria that's in that, and your cut's going to get infected instantly. Because if you notice, there was a big shift where people were talking about, oh, this is a possibility, and then all of a sudden lawsuits happened and none of it happened. They were talking about putting it in professional leagues and all this other nonsense. The other main thing as well is actually really difficult to kick a ball on this stuff, like different from where you would on a normal field. It's very different. The feel is different, the way you strike a ball is different, and if you're trying to loft and get across on the ball, it's very different. Because we're going to talk about that, because there's someone who gets a goal who's trying to cross the ball, but he's doing it on a different field, and you can't really get your foot underneath it. So what you end up overcompensating, putting your foot down too deep, and then you hit the ball kind of funky, and maybe he just scored a goal. But let's move on a little bit here, because I think honestly it is going to be an interesting 2 weeks building up to this final, because it's just going to be mayhem. It might be one of the best games of the year. I have a feeling it's going to be. It's just going to be absolutely brilliant to watch. But watch this little corner here. We've got a little bit of dynamic movement happening just as this corner starts. Look, boom. Do you see him starting to peel away? Really good. Reading the flight of the ball. Realises the flight of the ball's going down here. Boom. He's adjusting and absolutely brilliantly reading the ball. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, here's the other thing. What a real striker does. Dom Solanke. He scores the goal. Why? Because this is what really good striker, not really good, well, he is, I don't know, he's in that sort of range before he becomes really good and everybody wants him, and scoring enough goals. He just wasn't fit enough this season, and I think he would have done really well if he was fit for the whole season. But he gets himself in situations and he can finish opportunities, and this is an opportunity. Like, if this was an Arsenal, they probably wouldn't have got the goal, because they wouldn't have had a player in this situation. He would have been outside the 6-yard box, or probably over here, picking up a second ball and trying to recycle the ball and pass it around. And this is the difference of what a real striker does. When the ball gets headed back in, bump, there he is, bump, in the goal. Straight away, dumph. Because he's in there, in front of the goalkeeper, knowing his job, gets himself a goal. Let's move. Told you it's going to be a quick one, and here we are. Second goal. You know where he's looking to put this ball. They're on the counter-attack. Everyone's queuing up on the back post. He's looking to whip the ball in, put it in this area, and let people attack it. But I'm telling you, it's this surface. You think you've got a great clean purchase on the ball and you're doing a nice clean strike, and the next thing you know, you hit the ball, bam, and it goes up and it drifts into the far post, and the keeper's got no chance. It's just one of those. You ask him to do that again and he probably wouldn't do it. And if you ask him if he's meant to score, there you go, yes. And if you say that you meant to cross it, you're like, it can take. Okay, this is one of those mindset tests where if you do that and it goes in, and you said, yeah, I meant to do that, you can tell who their mindset is. And the ones that are honest and go, oh, I meant to cross it, you can tell their mindset and who they are. It's very important, these little questions you ask, and you can find out how their brain works and what if they're really honest, dishonest, if you want them in your team. It's very important little stuff. Bump goes in, keeper's got no chance. And it's also sometimes just a confidence issue where some people won't admit, or an ego issue more than a confidence issue, I'd say, that you know what, that was supposed to be a cross, and it went in accidentally. It's like, it is a bit of a confidence thing and an ego thing, of the fact that, I'm not good enough to do it, but I'm not going to admit it. I'm just going to, brag, and yeah. But that's enough about that, and I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.